Well, in today's Music Maker segment, we are highlighting one of America's most famous music studios when music producer Rick Hall opened a recording facility in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Artists rushed in from around the world on a quest to record a hit record. A documentary entitled Muscle Shoals highlights the studio's history. Here's VOA's Carolyn Turner.
The film could be titled The History of Rock and Roll. It features hundreds of American recording artists who recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. The story follows Rick Hall, the music producer who worked his artists until he found the perfect magic that made them a legend.
It doesn't happen very often. It's usually somebody like Rick Hall with the drive and the foresight to do it.
I wanted to be special. I wanted to be somebody.
The Swampers were background musicians who played to complement each artist's unique style.
When we really got moving in the 70s, we were doing like 50 albums a year.
It was one of the best rooms I've ever worked in. The sound was like the perfect sound. It was the sound that you'd be going for everywhere else but couldn't get. And that's why it became the place where everybody wanted to record.
And the rest is rock and roll history.
We were very fortunate to get to work with a lot of the big stars, Bob Dylan, Paul Simon, Boz Scaggs, staple singers.
Rod Stewart, Joe Cocker, I mean, I can just name you a list.
Johnny Taylor,
Glenn Frey,
Leon Russell,
Willie Nelson,
Levon Helm,
Donnie Fritz,
Carlos Santana, John Prine,
Millie Jackson,
R.B. Greaves, J.J. Cale, Dire Straits, Simon and Garfunkel.
The span of artists and scope of music from Muscle Shoals made the film a challenge.
Still amazes me today that all that music was played by us guys. A lot of the music was hits.
You look back and you see the discography, we're as amazed as anyone.
The film's producer, Greg Camilleri, says the music exists because of Rick Hall.
He grew up being self-reliant, so he was like, oh, an engineer, I can figure that out, no problem. Producer, I can do that. You know, he's like, I can do all this. So.
The film reveals how some of the greatest artists were discovered.
When a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else.
I was a little guy working in the field, chopping cotton, singing to the older people in the field that always said that one day my voice would be heard all over the world, but I never thought that would happen.
Percy worked at the local hospital.
I was an orderly working with the sick people. I'd sing a song for them, you know, and they go to sleep. I got such a big kick out of that.
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me.
He said, you know, I've got this great little studio down in Muscle Shoals, and these cats are really greasy. You're gonna love it.
She walks in, right over there. And she's got this aura around her, pretty thick. I mean, the girl was special. So she walked right over to the piano. She sat there a moment, and then she just hit this unknown chord, I would say. Didn't anybody have to say we're about to cut?
We did what we called head sessions at that time, and there was no real music written for it. The musicians would just listen to what it was I was doing, and then they would decide what they were going to do around that.
The film celebrates the signature sound of Muscle Shoals.
Honored to step in the place of people who I wish I could have met. You know, there's still a piece of Eddie here, there's still a piece of Aretha here, there's a piece of everybody who walked through these doors.
Camilleri explains why audiences need to see the film.
Fascinating story of music, but it's also a fascinating story of these people, and that probably music that they love comes from there, and they just don't know it yet. And so that, you know, to watch the film and discover this incredible story of American music.
You're going to hear some of the greatest voices that ever were.
You're in rock and roll heaven, man.
The original Muscle Shoals Sound Studios building is slated to become a museum. Carolyn Turner, VOA News.